afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Fireside Chat. I want to thank all of you for taking out time for the session today, and I hope that you and everyone in your family is doing well and safe. As you are aware that this is a series that we have been conducting over the past few months, and we have showcased digital thinkers over the series. Digital thinkers who have transformed businesses using technology. And today we bring to you one such digital thinker. But before I actually introduce him, I just want to take a few minutes to set the context for today's discussion. We all are aware that customer centricity is at the heart of business success. And as a result, organizations worldwide are putting the customer at the core of their business strategy in order to provide a positive experience and build long-term relationships. And this is the new reality that organizations need to align to, and the only way for them to survive and stay competitive. Now, this also means that customers have come to expect nothing less than the highest standards of reliability and outcomes from businesses today. But considering the tight constraints, businesses are operating under, gearing up massive resources at the back end to enable that may not always be the most effective strategy. Especially if we look at the ongoing uncertainty amidst the crisis, which is there right now, businesses will have to work under even tighter constraints. Meanwhile, the pressure to drive innovations and initiatives that maximize business outcomes around faster time to market, unlocking new revenue opportunities, etc., is higher than ever before. The bottom line is enabling maximum impact with minimum resources. And legacy architectures that lack agility, speed, and scalability are not optimized to deliver on these outcomes. They are resource heavy and not optimized to be future ready. So what is required to plug these gap areas and truly accelerate and optimize outcomes is a modernized architecture that can enable your teams to focus on driving business innovation instead of managing their infrastructure. And that is possible with cloud. In today's session, we will see how one company is leveraging cloud to seamlessly run and manage over 1 million active users of its SaaS solution with a lean DevOps team. The company that I'm talking about here is Kissflow, one of the leading digital workplace providers that helps organizations manage all of their work on a single unified platform. Now, Kissflow is used by over 10,000 customers across 160 countries, including more than 50 Fortune 500 companies. So you get an idea about the kind of massive volumes that we are talking here about supporting. So cloud ensured that having a lean DevOps team was never a roadblock in supporting doubling users every year. And to talk about Kissflow's fascinating journey on cloud, I have with me Suresh Sambanathandam, CEO of Kissflow. Suresh is an expert and renowned entrepreneur on a mission to democratize cutting-edge technologies and help enterprises seamlessly orchestrate their work through an intuitive blend of collaboration, coordination, and control. He has 3 US patents to his credit, and Suresh is passionate about entrepreneurship, technology startups, and spends a significant amount of time in the startup ecosystem mentoring young companies. So welcome, Suresh, and thank you so much for taking out time to join us today for this session. And to take the discussion forward and bring out Kissflow's cloud journey essence, I would like to invite Deepak Ajmani, Country Head, Corporate Business, Google Cloud. Deepak is a part of the executive leadership team at Google Cloud India. His team at Google engages with customers and partners to increase market awareness and ensure customer success on Google Cloud. And Deepak is an industry veteran with over 22 years of experience in leading and scaling business units at companies such as Oracle and Dell. So before I hand it over to Deepak, I would request all of you, you would have the chat window, the Q&A window right in front of you. So while the session is going on, if you have any questions for Suresh and for Deepak, Feel free to type in your questions and we will take those questions. We will have them answered live by Suresh and Deepak during the Q&A session towards the end. So Deepak, over to you.
Thank you so much, Shipra, and good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Suresh. It's a pleasure to have you on this panel today, and I have the honor of doing a fireside chat with you. I've had the pleasure of knowing you for a while, and we go back some way in terms of your journey on cloud and on Google Cloud. So it would be great to hear some feedback and stories on how your evolution has been right at Kissflow, and then how cloud has helped you transform yourself into the company that you are today. So without much further ado, Suresh, I'm going to ask you the first question about your company. Tell us about the evolution of Kissflow from where it started to its growth into a leading digital native workplace solution with over 1 million plus active users.
Yeah. First of all, hi, everyone. This is Suresh. Great to meet everyone on this call, and thanks, Shipra, for this fantastic introduction, and thanks for Dynamic CIO, as well as for Google to hosting this fantastic session. So yeah, our session with our evolution with Kissflow has been very not very easy, right? So we actually we started many years ago. In fact, we started in 2003, 2004 timeframe, and we were on this pursuit of solving, democratizing this workplace automation, in a very unique way. But it took us 2 pivots, and this is Kissflow is our 3rd pivot, right? Which actually became hugely successful. The first 2 pivots were only moderately successful. And hence we had a bit of a roller coaster ride, and then now we are being celebrated as one of the top 5 companies in the SaaS space in India, and we are very proud and excited about it. So yeah, it didn't come easily. So we were at it for quite a long time. And now we have gotten a significant success in the last 5 years or so.
Well, that's really awesome. And I'm sure you must have gone through a lot of roller coaster stories as well. I'd like to hear more and more about it. So as I look at it, Suresh, businesses today are operating under very tight constraints, right? And it's not always possible to add massive resources. So when you were growing, when you were sort of planning to grow, what kind of challenges did you face when you were meeting your plans for scaling up with a lean DevOps team and limited infrastructure resources?
Sure. Actually, our story starts. We were one of the pioneers in thinking this way, I should say. And there is also this phrase called the pain of pioneering, right? So every time you pioneer, you are left with the burden of pushing that idea forward, and sometimes you get a setback. The reason I say that is in 2008-2009 timeframe, Google first announced App Engine, and as we know cloud today, that was very, very early days for cloud. And Google itself is always seen as a pioneering company, bringing some phenomenal technology to the world, right? And Google first announces App Engine, which is the first platform cloud, right? And there was never before. There was only infrastructure cloud until then. And when Google announced platform cloud, and that is a time when we were actually toying the idea of going to cloud. And we were a startup, and we didn't have the huge resources and the infrastructure team, the security team, the DevOps team to sort of manage all these things, put up times, and then worry about different time zones, data center scaling. All of that was very nightmarish for us to even imagine. And then it was like, as they say, it's a godsend, right? So when Google announced, when we see this announcement like App Engine, oh my God, this is exactly what we needed, right? And that actually helped us keep our team very, very lean, very cost effective, and very efficient. And we built this is the second pivot, right? There was no Kissflow at that time. This is the second pivot, which was called Orenscape's Visual PaaS platform, and we actually launched that live on the Google App Engine platform, right? And that's how our journey started with the Google Cloud environment. And Google was also pioneering in that space, and we also were piggybacking on that breakthrough technology, and that helped us a lot. And one of the easiest measures for me is my engineers didn't have to stay late night to see what's happening on their infrastructure or on their cluster. Is it down? Is it up? What happened to the downtime? They happily write code, which engineers are very happy doing it. And then they push a button, it goes and runs in App Engine Cloud, and they're very happy. After that, rest of the stuff App Engine used to take care of, and it still does, right? And that was those experience of building a lean, very effective, in fact, zero DevOps, I would say. People talk about lean DevOps. I think that time we only had engineers, literally no DevOps, right? And that's the kind of journey we started with Google. So, and we were very excited about it.
That's really great to know. I think you've covered a whole lot of things around the whole agility piece and the whole zero DevOps. That's a key message for our audience today as well. Now, going back to the platform itself. So, as your digital workforce SaaS platform started to experience growth, with users doubling every year, how did you find cloud to be the right solution to support that kind of growth?
Yeah, absolutely. So we started with App Engine, and then we started growing. And when we started growing, along the line, we also needed tremendous amount of flexibility that is required to manage our growth, right? And customer had some special requirements and all of that. So along the line, we transitioned from being an App Engine user platform, using our App Engine as our backend, to Google's GKE platform, which is the Kubernetes platform. So we were also very happy to say we're one of the most leading edge technology company in India. All of our services are running as microservices now, and it's running on the containerized environment under GKE cluster, and GKE is a fully managed environment that we are using. Now we have best of both worlds, right? We've tasted a platform architecture which allows people to scale automatically, but App Engine had limited flexibility to control the pieces in the platform. But then we like, if you have something like a compute infrastructure, it gives you a lot of flexibility, but it doesn't give you a managed platform environment. Now, what we found, for us, it doesn't make sense for us to go from App Engine to a compute infrastructure, right? So we need to go upwards, right? We have to upgrade ourselves, not really downgrade ourselves. So our natural choice was actually to pick GKE, and that gave us best of both worlds, right? On one hand, it allowed us to auto scale, self-managed. Certain healing concepts are also there, right? Which means it releases our engineers and DevOps from doing some of the mundane stuff. But it also gives them the control to specifically size a particular pod and what set of configuration you need to have for the pod, memory configurations and all whatnot, right? So that's how we basically we graduated from App Engine to a GKE environment.
Got it. And since you spoke about this whole ability to scale and have this whole agile team to be able to bring releases to the market, were there some improvements along the way on the key business and IT metrics with Google Cloud? Because clearly, I'm sure you're seeing that technology has helped you enable the business. But what I really want to focus on is specific key metrics that you track in your business and IT that really shot up really, really well.
Of course, one of the biggest thing is how fast is our CI/CD pipeline. See, when we really started, meaning this is a classic example of agility and impact from a DevOps and IT perspective, right? Like previously, we used to release before we set up our full-fledged CI/CD on top of GKE environment and all the other pieces put together. It takes like a month to release new releases, right? From that kind of roughly, I'm saying approximately, we have to release something, we have to pool everything, put together, because there's a lot of overheads and everything together, and then it takes a lot of time for us to push it out. So it takes like a month. Now, literally every single day we are able to release new features. Our customers are experiencing new features. Like every day they come in, they'll see a new bug fix or a new upgrade or a new small feature. Sometimes even big modules are added. And the beauty is it's all completely componentized using microservices, which means we can change one part of this entire mammoth system without disturbing any other part of the system. And that's the beauty of this whole architecture. And we are actually very thrilled, in fact, with the way we are operating our operating environment.
It's awesome. 1 month to almost like a daily update.
Yeah, we do daily updates, actually. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And again, when I look at the wide range of customers that you cater to, right? I mean, you have customers with as low as 10 users to customers with as high as 10,000 users. How is cloud helping you to manage this entire wide range of customers in the most efficient and cost-effective manner, most importantly?
Yeah, see, one of the big advantage of cloud is that if you truly build a shared everything multi-tenant architecture, and especially base it on top of like a microservices architecture with a containerized environment like GKE, you are so much more proofing yourself, technology proofing, like component proofing, and sizing, scalability, performance, all of that you are proofing yourself. Because what's happening is now you can actually put any number of customers onto the same cluster, because everything is a stateless service. It doesn't differentiate. The big customers and the small customers and the medium-sized customers exactly get the same kind of performance and throughput without having to discriminate small customers from the big customers. So that was one of those older problems, right? Because the small customers don't get to experience the same performance and throughput of bigger customers, because you don't allocate that kind of infrastructure or hardware resources for small customers. You tend to sort of let them suffer for some time, right? So that is the old thinking. But then in this new paradigm, we are able to provide exact high quality service without discrimination. It's pretty much like how Google G Suite works. Like, for example, whether you have 100,000 or 1 million user account, or whether it's an SMB with 5 user or a 2 user account, G Suite or Gmail email infrastructure system doesn't discriminate. It gives the same world-class service. There may be feature differences between plans, which we also do have, but in terms of performance or security or scalability or uptime, meaning it gives you pretty much the world-class enterprise experience. And we were able to provide that, and that's what cloud has enabled us to do, and we are very happy about it.
That's really good analogy to G Suite, and completely agree with you that the user experience should not change irrespective of the number of users who are accessing the platform. So
exactly.
Cloud helping you to free up your DevOps team to focus on the business innovation instead of managing infrastructure today.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Actually, as I said, with App Engine, we started with zero DevOps, right? Now, ideally, if you ask me the kind of complexity of the system that we are running, we have, and the number of microservices that we are running, we should be having anywhere between 5 to 6 people dedicated on DevOps, right? And if you roughly take each one of them, let's say they cost like $35,000 to $40,000 in terms of compensation. Like, let's say 30,000 roughly, right? If you take $30,000 compensation, and if you're talking about 5 people, you're talking about $150,000 spent on DevOps just on people cost. But on the other hand, we are having roughly $50,000, not more than $50,000 DevOps cost. We have very small team. We have just 2 people, right, managing our entire DevOps, because we have a lean DevOps system, which means we have saved pretty much on a every year basis, purely just on salary costs, like $100,000.
So I think we have lost Deepak, Suresh. So I want to just ask you the next question in his absence. Now, this is a great story, and it's amazing to see this see this growth and how cloud has been helping you to really transform. Right now, going forward, what are your plans for further enhancing your digital workplace SaaS platform, and how are you planning to leverage cloud for that?
Sure. So as we say, as I said before, right, we started with App Engine and we wanted to look at it as an upgrade. And then we went into microservices and Kubernetes and containerization and GKE cluster, which is self-managed, all of the story. From here, when we look at it, one of the things that we are getting into is a really large enterprise customers like banks, for example, right, who are demanding even more specialized cloud services, cloud deployment services from us. And one of the things that we are very actively pursuing right now is to use Google's Anthos architecture, right? I know it's one of those very promising but young technologies, right? But we wanted to we were always like, we bet on technologies like Anthos, and that's our gene pool and that's our DNA, right? And so we are betting on something like Anthos, which helps us to do a multi-cloud deployment and also on-premise deployment for some customers if they want it, and stuff like that. So that's really how we are seeing, as we scale bigger and bigger, we are surfacing these specialized cloud deployment requirements, and luckily Google is to innovating along the line fast enough so that we are able to leverage those technologies and use it to benefit our customers and thereby actually benefit us. And that's really our plan, looking at how to grow into the cloud as we grow bigger into new use cases and new deployment scenarios. I think Deepak is back.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about the intermittent network connection today, Suresh. But no, really, I think it's been a very enriching journey. I think from where you started off with the usage of Google App Engine way back to how you evolved to achieve literally zero DevOps, like a very agile, lean DevOps team. You said 2 people managing the entire DevOps environment. That's just fantastic. Not only kind of gives you cost effectiveness, but also great performance, for all your end customers. I love the point you made around this whole analogy with the G Suite platform, which again doesn't differentiate between users, how many users, but democratizes the entire access to the platform. I think that's a phenomenal point that you made. And I think I missed the last part, but from what I could gather was that you were looking at Anthos to look at how can we sort of cater to a wider range of customers in the marketplace, so that we can take this platform to several hundreds and millions of users as we move forward. So thank you, Suresh. It's been very, very insightful talking to you. I'm sure the audience has a ton of questions. I just set the platform here for them to ask questions, so we'll save that for later. But for now, I will pass this back to Shipra to take it away.
Sure. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Sure, Suresh, and thanks Deepak for aptly summing it up, the entire conversation. But great, Suresh, it was actually fascinating to hear from where you started with the App Engine and where you are going forward with Anthos, and so this journey, whether it is managing and scaling across small to large customers seamlessly, or reducing your infrastructure maintenance and improving uptime and doing all this with an agile and lean DevOps team, I think this is a truly impactful story of what cloud can help deliver with limited resources and with lean resources. And this is a blueprint that all businesses today aspire to master. So this will be a great learning experience for all of those our audience who are here today listening to this. So thank you once again, and thanks Deepak for that for really bringing out the essence of Kissflow's journey. So as I said, if you have any questions from the audience, please do send in your questions over the Q&A box, which is there in front of you. We will take those questions towards the end. Meanwhile, now I would like to invite a partner. Now, we spoke to Suresh, we spoke to Deepak, and they brought in their perspectives from a technology provider and from a customer perspective. But equally important is the partner perspective, because the partner actually is important in helping optimize and maximize the results that the customer has set out to achieve with their cloud journey. So to hear from the perspective of the partner, I would now like to invite Abdul Muneem, co-founder and director, Brio Technologies and cloud evangelist. With more than 2 decades of rich experience, Abdul helps businesses embrace the cloud and the future of work. So Abdul, I'll hand it over to you here.
Hey, hi Shibra. Thanks. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, Abdul.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Deepak, and thanks, Suresh, for sharing that wonderful journey on how you have been very customer-centric with a very lean DevOps team and being a bellwether for Google technology for the other people. Thanks for that. So I have a small presentation. I'd just like to bring it up. Is my screen visible, Shikha?
Yes, Abdul, it's visible.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thanks everyone. Good evening, and thank you all for this providing us with this wonderful opportunity to talk about what we do at Brio. Digital has been the main reason behind disappearance for more than 50% of companies in Fortune 500 list of year 2000, and 90% of executives feel that their industries would be significantly or moderately impacted by digital trends. And there's a great opportunity for us. And in next couple of minutes, I would like to talk about how Brio is engaging with its customers to make most out of this opportunity. So we are a 100% cloud-focused company, and all we do is shift IT from being a support function to a business differentiator. So we started in 2004, and we were very fortunate enough to be, to be onboarded as a Google Cloud partner early in the ecosystem. So our journey with Google started in 2008, and this was a very pivotal point for Brio's growth. And we have been witnessing a growth of around 70% year on year. And we believe in a principle of preach what you practice. We want to take this same experience of growth to our customers. So in this 12 years, we were fortunate enough to work with around 3,000 customers, and we have delivered over 100 plus successful cloud projects. Leveraging Google Cloud, we are able to provide our customers with infrastructure modernization approaches, right from re-platform to rehost. Be it a simple lift and shift scenario, or moving a complex workload like SAP, business critical workload like SAP, from on-prem or any other public cloud to Google Cloud. We have the tools and processes to take you smoothly on Google Cloud. Companies today face challenges on balancing IT resources and security with the demand in work from home. Our VDI solutions help companies provide scalable and secure platform to connect to your corporate resources to keep your business moving forward. Our engineers are working with our customers to build true cloud native applications without the fear of being vendor locked, helping them embrace modern approaches like serverless, microservices, and containers, where they're able to quickly code, build, deploy, and manage their applications without uh, compromising on security or quality of their application. Our customers are able to unlock the data and reimagine their businesses, uh, leveraging Google Cloud fully managed serverless platform, uh, analytics platform. With, with this platform, they're able to gain insights and they're able to gain insights and accelerate their innovation. Uh, so we are not only working with them on modernizing their data warehouses and data lakes, but we are also helping them enhance their ETL processes. So with limited or no machine learning capabilities, our customers are able to infuse AI capabilities into their existing applications or build altogether new applications to cater to broad spectrum of use cases, leveraging AI building blocks like for vision, conversation, and language. We have implemented a G Suite, which is a business productivity and collaboration suite from Google for over 3,000 businesses. Not only we are helping in collaboration, we are helping them search their content, enterprise content like Google with solutions like Cloud Search. We are able to implement concepts like zero trust access, where meaning your employees and extended workforce have access to internal applications anywhere, anytime without the need of VPN. Co- Companies are being pushed by their customers constantly to innovate, to stay relevant. So customers today want to do business online, have an amazing app experience, want a quick response to their feedback, and want to reach out to your companies any time of the day. And at the same time, they would expect the same experience anywhere in the world, and also lowering the cost. All these can be truly met by a cloud native application. We can engage with you on the app dev modernization journey, just not from traditional app dev to getting your feet wet on the cloud with your legacy app. Our goal is to really move you forward in this cloud modernization journey through phase three and ultimately to a more cloud mature model of phase four. A leap from phase two to phase three is going from VMs to containers, switching to managed services, automating your operations, and more importantly, replicating your components to build resiliency to achieve HA. You can get started with this modernization journey with multiple forms, be it a lift and shift, re-platform, or rebuild. So the farther you are on the right, the higher you are on the modernization scale. Google as a company has built over 9 products with over billion users. So products like Gmail, Search, YouTube, Maps have all been built leveraging the backbone of Google's infrastructure, which is designed with the end user experience as the first priority. So when customers move to cloud, Google Cloud, not only they get access to this amazing platform, but they also get access to the best practices and simplicity of Google. What it means to the customers. Customers can deliver the same experience as Google services to their end customers. When we engage with customers, our goal is to get you off the ground quickly, to sprint you to tackle projects, small projects, and move you quickly to become successful by bringing in speed, agility, better return on investment, and most importantly, make the most out of the technology stack to achieve your business goals and keep you forefront of the industry. What we have learned with working with our previous customers is training, identifying a use case, experiment, and setting up the foundation of the application, like organization structures, billing, monitoring, and other aspects can significantly impact the growth journey, the cloud journey which you are doing, and have a positive impact on the design of the application. So to summarize, cloud space has exploded in the last decade and the benefits are immense. But that said, it gets tricky. The benefits are significant only when the implementations are done right. We know far too many CXOs who have taken the migration journey only to face months of delays, system failures, misunderstood expectations, employee pushback, and worse, loss of data and security. And this is where we resolve to be different. We want to speed up your adoption of Google Cloud in your team and provide you with context aware support when you really need it. So we look forward to catch up with your teams along with Google engineers to know about your cloud journey and figure out how Brio and Google Cloud can be your cloud partners for the future. So you can reach out to us at brio.co.in or mail us at getoncloud@brio.co.in. So together, let's take on these great challenges and turn them into great opportunities. Thank you. Over to Shipra.
Thanks, Abdul. It's time now to take the questions as I had promised, and we have a few questions coming up for Suresh, Deepak, and Abdul for you also. So actually, the first question is for you, Suresh, and the question is that during the current COVID environment, it is difficult to convince our CFOs on the cost versus benefits that a cloud-led transformation can bring in. So any suggestions on how do we address this? I'm sure this question must be on the minds of most of the businesses. So I'm sure that will answer for a lot of people.
No, I actually I have a very funny answer for this, which is there was a Twitter post that was trending, which is somebody posted what is driving digital transformation, and there were three options, right? One is CEO, then there is CIO, and then the third option is COVID-19, right? And honestly, I actually believe COVID-19 has moved these whole conversations away from the CIO, meaning this whole the plane of conversation has moved. Now, the question of digital transformation and digitization and digitalization is no longer a cost question. Actually, it is a very hardcore business imperative, right? And if you don't have any of that in place, I don't think you will be able to run these businesses anymore in the future. So I guess COVID is actually, in some sense, unfortunately, right, it is a blessing in disguise for all these companies to move to cloud. And there is no reason for people to now. I think I see that a lot more people are coming to digital and cloud, and because of COVID. Because I will give you one example. In Kissflow, while COVID is happening, the number of signups in our product actually went up by 20%. During the COVID period, while everywhere, meaning of course the retail industry and other industries were going down because they cannot operate physical premises, but in our system, we saw a 20% increase in signups. Of course, the closures did not correlate, but the interest for people to try out and experience and then be aware of what's happening, they need to be on top of it. That whole awareness portion, I think COVID has put some tailwind behind the whole cloud adoption, I guess. So I think it's really a good time for cloud.
Yeah, so yeah, I agree with that. And COVID has been a force multiplier. And we have also seen that organizations that had fairly mature systems, they were able to withstand, the impact of COVID much better as compared to organizations that were fairly lower on the curve of digital maturity, and that is what we have been seeing. So, Deepak,
Shipra,
yeah,
before I move to the question, I actually
yeah,
wanted to add to what Suresh said, and I think it's very pertinent right now because I speak to CFOs, for several customers, and there were a couple of themes that come out. Right? How can you help me optimize the cost, and how can we help optimize this entire cash flow for the organization? And I feel that both of them are equally relevant. And I see cloud bringing that multiplier, the force multiplier effect, Suresh, that you alluded to, right, in terms of cost optimizations. You spoke about a lean DevOps, for example. That's a perfect use case in terms of what to take to a CFO when it comes to cloud adoption, right? Reduce infrastructure cost, reduce management cost, overall sort of optimization of services cost, because if you have 4 or 5 vendors that are giving you different services, when you consolidate them under cloud, you get the whole consolidated offering. The economies of scale kicks in. So I feel that there is just so many levers to take to a CFO today in terms of where we are in the pandemic, because it will resonate very well when it comes to an optimization and cash flow discussion. Happy to discuss this along with Abdul's team directly with you as well. Thank you for that opportunity, Shipra. Thank you, Suresh, for the answer.
Yeah, thank you.
so Deepak, while you have answered some part of the cost equation, there's a question for you. A little more around that, which says that why should we need to move to the cloud when the operational cost is very high, and what does the overall TCO versus benefit equation look like?
Sure. No, actually, it's a top of mind question for several CIOs and CTOs, and I see cloud being a leveler in terms of ensuring that your TCO is at least down by 20 to 30%. And we have proven this over and over again with with the help of our partners. We have a great engineering team. There are several optimizations available. Several sort of services available on the cloud platform that can definitely bring down the entire TCO at the bare minimum. And again, I'm just kind of making a statement basis the experience we're working with customers, and I see them sort of moving to cloud for, like I said, on cost reasons. The other aspect that I'm seeing a lot of folks moving to cloud is this whole aspect of security. And in times like these, when a lot of folks are accessing systems remotely, there could be an endpoint security issue. Now, it could be because of a malware installed on a phone, or it could be because of several other reasons. But the overall security is much better and higher in cloud as compared to what we see in a typical on-premise infrastructure management. The third piece is with regard to the whole personnel cost, and I feel that I think Suresh made a fantastic comment when he said that the DevOps team that he has is focusing on business innovation. And again, he's got 2 people in DevOps, but the engineering team is focusing on innovation. I see that engineering efforts need to be focused on what can you build for the future rather than what's there to manage. And I see it's a better way of skilling and reskilling our people to make sure that they're not spending a lot of the time managing functions and servers and networks, but actually working on disrupting the market with innovative solutions. So in some sense, that conversation then pivots to an innovation conversation, right? Are you innovating ahead of the market to be competitive in the market? Because then you don't have to worry about an engineering team and your management team focusing on servers and networks. So I think, Shipra, it's an overall effect that comes from not just moving to the cloud from just an infrastructure cost standpoint, but also the whole management cost, this whole aspect of security that is costing companies millions of dollars these years. Moving to cloud, it seems to be a fantastic choice for many customers that we speak with.
Right, absolutely. And like you said, it's not one factor that underpins the whole cost versus benefit equation. It's a whole lot of factors that come into play. Abdul, the next question is for you, and it says, what are the usual pitfalls in planning a cloud migration, especially when we are already on some other cloud and migrating to the other one?
So Shipra, what we have seen customers particularly moving from other clouds is like, they all the clouds what we have worked as, they're little different. They're not same. So first is like there are a lot of assumptions which customers make. So if they're using a X service, they expect same thing on the other cloud. Maybe it's having a different service, or maybe that service they have something better than that, or maybe it's not even available. So I think before people migrate, they should really look forward and not make assumptions, but to cross-check their assumptions. Uh, Second thing is all about skill sets, what we have seen. Because as I was showing in the presentation, because we start with the basic training and stuff like that when we engage with our customers, and also where we are engaging with customers who got onboarded on Google Cloud. There are certain fundamental things which they have not done correctly. So what happens is because these people are deeply invested in other cloud technologies, they're comfortable. So I think the change management, or for the overall team to understand how things work in Google Cloud with respect to other clouds, these are some of the challenges. uh, I think these are one or two things which we have observed with the customers as such. And obviously, the licensing part. So how are you going to, like, this happens particularly when you're on-prem and coming to any cloud. So people need to have clarity on licensing and regions. There may be already with some region, with other cloud provider coming here. So these are some of the top challenges what we have seen.
Okay, okay. So Deepak, the next question, I think it's a very important question, which is that from a security perspective, and the person wants to know that can a partner get access to the customer data or have control over it?
No, actually, vehement no. You are in charge of your data, right? Eventually, I always look at security as a shared responsibility between the customer, partner, and Google. We don't work with your data. Yeah, there may be functions that you might expose. There may be some bit of again static information that you might share for a POC, but we don't really work with your data. Your data is entirely your property, and it is our. In fact, when Abdul spoke about a zero trust kind of a model on security, we have inbuilt security right from the chip to the chiller, as we say, right? Where effectively your data is encrypted in forms and formats that are not accessible to anybody at Google or the partner, and you are always in charge of it, unless, of course, there is a reason for you to expose the data to any partner for whatever reasons. I would say we do not consciously look for it, and we don't really sort of look into that data because it's entirely your property.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. I think that will.
Shikha, sorry, I just want to add one point here,
Yes.
just to add a different dimension to what Deepak was saying. It all depends on the customer, how he wants to engage with the partner. So if the customer wishes that the partner should not get access to anything, so that is possible. And there are some customers who want us to help with their architecture. So we don't have access to their project, but we help them on the architecture front. And there are some customers on the other side who wants us to manage everything, right from provisioning of resources and those things. So the important point is here is, sort of what type of access you want to give to, the partner. So that customers have the levers to play around, what access we give.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for that, for adding that. So Suresh, I want to take up the last question, and this is for you. And Again, something which is very relevant in today's environments. At the beginning in my introduction, I did speak about how customer centricity and customer experience is a big priority for organizations. The question here is, how do organizations prioritize customer experience over IT costs? I know this is going to be a hard balancing act to be done, but what is your suggestion on that?
I actually think always go for the customer experience, right? In fact, even if it costs a bit, it will pay up in multiple times. I will quote one example, right? When we started KissFlow way back in 2015, we made a very critical change in our customer experience process. At that time, it is a very standard process. If you have issues, you file a ticket to a software company, and the software company will reply to the ticket, and they will resolve the ticket. And oftentimes you get replies over like 24-hour timeline, and then eventually it will get resolved, right? That is the established industry standard practice. Now, what we decided to do in KissFlow is we changed that process and we put a chat system inside our software for the first time. And this is very unusual. Now, most of the companies already do that, right? But when we did it, it was one of the first experience. So this is one of the first time a B2B software company, which is operating in hundreds of thousands of users, embedded a chat inside the product so that any user has any issue, they click that button and they can punch in their questions, and then they get pretty much close to real-time response, right? And of course that meant that we need to have a whole lot of people on our side, and we need to staff them across 3 shifts. You don't have the luxury of replying after 8 hours or 6 hours, because somebody punched in a chat query. The minimum expectation is few minutes, meaning most people expect in seconds, right? So and that actually changed the customer experience perception for KissFlow, and that stayed with our customers, and they felt that KissFlow is very easy to work with. The support is world class and all of that. So I would actually say to companies and startups and pretty much everyone who's listening to this, that you would want to over-invest on customer experience, and that will pay back 10 times over the cost that you're investing. So that is my personal lesson.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that very interesting anecdote that you did. And so there is actually no over-investment in customer experience. It always pays off. And so it's important for organizations to not just look from the short-term perspective, but in terms of a long-term perspective, because these customers are going to be your spokespeople actually in the larger market eventually. So thank you so much, Suresh. It was fascinating hearing you, talking to you throughout this last 1 hour, and thank you so much for taking our time today to be with us. A lot of lessons and learnings for our viewers to take back with them. Thanks, Deepak and Abdul, also for your time, and thank you to all our viewers for being here with us in the middle of the day amidst your work and disruptions. But yes, of course, this is going to be quite helpful to take back with in your work life. So thank you so much once again, everyone, and stay safe and have a great day.
Thank you, Shipra. I enjoyed being part of this call. Thanks for the Google team and Dynamic CEO and Breo, our partner. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Suresh. Thanks, Abdul. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.